Hey guys, I just got off of this absolutely amazing podcast. Dude, you guys are gonna love this. Make sure that you stay on and check out the full podcast. But my buddy Vlad came on and really talked about AI and how we can put it into our real estate businesses and really just leverage all of the things that we're doing to just turbocharge our business. Do you know that you can get a very experienced chatbot that's done thousands and thousands of real estate chats to be on your seller's website, even your buyer's website, right? You can train them to talk to your buyers first, right? And the whole goal is, how can I leverage and take the people that are on my team and make sure that I'm using them for the highest level conversations, right? What I used to do is I would have somebody that just did a lot of follow-up calls, and most of the time they're just out there calling, getting no answer, right? That's not the best use of their time. So check this out. This is the way to absolutely turbocharge your business. These guys can even integrate this into your SMS, text messaging and emails. So do not miss it. Amazing podcast, and I think you're gonna get a lot out of it. All right, everybody, welcome. So glad to have all of you here. We're doing this on my side, remote from Phoenix, Arizona, but it was super important to me because we've got an amazing show today. So we're going to talk about the thing everybody is most interested in, which is AI, right? So guys, welcome to today's presentation. Super excited to have you here. We're going to look at some really incredible strategies to grow your real estate business and really take your marketing to the next level, right? It's a new year, it's 2025. There are all these new resources out there. We're all on the hunt to find ways to leverage tools out there to actually grow our business. So before we get started, I want to introduce, a really good friend of mine, our special guest, who just brings an absolute wealth of knowledge and expertise to the table, Vlad Vidaeff. Vlad has over a decade of experience as a leader, strategist, and really just content creator. He's got a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan, an MBA from Wake Forest, so smart guy, right? And, he served as the president of the Houston chapter of the American Marketing Association. So this guy gets what we're doing, right? He understands marketing and, he understands real estate because since 2020, he's really just been making waves in our industry. He worked at My House Deals, which was, really one of the first platforms for deal making that had been around since like 2005. And today he's the director of marketing and operations and business development at BotBuilders. And that's what we want to talk about today. Just an absolute, business that's crushing it for people all over the country in multiple different industries. So super happy to have you here today, Vlad. Welcome, and excited to hear what you got.
Thanks for having me, David. That's quite the intro. I need you as my hype man.
Yeah, well, listen, I had to pare it down. There was so much stuff there. I didn't want it to go. I didn't want to spend our 30 minutes building you up.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So you're in Houston, right?
So I have been in Houston until recently. So one of the big things, I started working for BotBuilders back in October. Though I've known the guys there for years because they were partners of ours at My House Deals. So, that's a story in itself. But as part of that, they wanted me to move to Phoenix. So I actually officially moved to Phoenix last week.
Oh,
so
cool.
The mountains you see in the background, that's Arizona, not Texas, unless you're in unless you're in
Well, I was wondering if you got all that bad weather, but yeah, it's a little. It's cold as it is here because I'm in Phoenix too this week, but it's supposedly like the warmest place in the country right now.
Yeah, and I'll take it any day of the week.
Yeah. So cool. So tell us about BotBuilders and everything that you guys have got going on, and let's take it away.
Sure. So when it comes to BotBuilders, in a nutshell, our co-founders Matt Lights and Nick Frashon, they saw an opportunity many years ago. And David, I'm sure you've interacted with chatbots in the past.
Yeah,
it's not always the greatest experience. It can actually be the exact opposite.
Yeah.
If the bot doesn't understand what you're asking, you can clearly tell it's not a human, and then it causes more frustration than anything else. So Matt and Nick had those experiences and created something that was a lot more complex. And so that's really what started our company. they built things from the ground up and eventually created the technology that ManyChat uses, one of the biggest AI companies in
Yeah.
the world. So that really helped us grow too, and gain credibility, a reputation in the market. And as time has passed on, we've also expanded into AI, into automation. Really what we do is we help small business owners, we help medium-sized business owners implement AI and automation into their day-to-day to help them save money, be more efficient. And so that's what we're all about.
Yeah, I love that because, everybody is trying to run a little bit leaner and meaner and just lighter companies where, same way where we help with transactions where you can outsource some of these things. I do not want to become an expert programmer. I don't want to go into Chat GPT and build out GPTs, which I think that's what they're called. But yeah, I don't want to do any of that. I want to hire someone and bring in somebody who's already figured it out. And, their software has had 10,000 conversations, right? And they've already worked out all the kinks.
100%. And sometimes, you'll get business owners who say, well, this is going to be incredibly complex and difficult to implement into my business, so I don't want to spend all that time.
Right.
What if the results aren't what I'm looking for? Or what if I try something and the return isn't there? So you see those barriers, and I think those are realistic because those things do happen.
Sure.
But if you're working with the right company, if it's a fit for the way your company operates or what you're trying to achieve, it doesn't have to be incredibly complex. It doesn't have to be something that you need a whole squad of developers to create. So I think if you're selective, you won't face those hurdles along the way.
Yeah. Well, that, it was important for me to bring on somebody. Obviously, we've been friends for a long time, but definitely I love, you guys are working with just some of the biggest names in the industry. We won't name drop them here, but you've definitely got the credentials to back up all of the stuff that we're going to talk about. So super important. And then, I'm a wholesaler, wholesalers, right? We are not the detail oriented people. So, the simpler it can be for us where we can implement it and actually see, an ROI and a return, the more excited that we get about it. So, yeah, super excited to see what you got. I think Chloe said you had a nice presentation.
Yeah. So, happy to talk through things with you. I don't have a presentation handy, but hey, anything you want to throw my way, go for it.
All right. Well, cool. Well, so what are some of the ways that you guys can kind of connect into, the average real estate investor's business? Like how does that work? How can you come in and help us leverage time and money to grow our business?
Yeah, I'm happy you brought up real estate investing because, we do serve all industries.
Yeah.
But the REI space has always been a heavy hitter for us. And, I have that real estate background as you mentioned, so it's a passion of mine too. And I think, there are natural synergies there. So when you think of a wholesaler or, other types of investors, there are many aspects of what they do that they may not necessarily enjoy doing.
Yeah.
But it has to happen.
Sure.
So, people will often, do it themselves for a while. They may hire someone to help them. They may reach out to, folks overseas. So when it comes to cold calling, for example, that's often something that you need to do. It's not something that you love to do.
Yeah.
So when it comes to our chatbots, that is one of the ways in which we help real estate investors by being able to have those conversations with prospects. So given the complexity of what we do, we're always going to create a customized bot for you and your business.
Nice.
So one, it can sound like you. So, we're looking at your brand. We're also looking at who your audience is and making sure, the bot's communicating with them in the right way.
Right.
And, we're also making sure that it's not one of those bad experiences that we spoke about earlier. So given the complexity of what we create, it's something where they probably won't even know that they're not talking to David. They're talking to, David's robot version. So it's
one version of me is probably enough, but I no, I think that's fascinating because, you mentioned, hiring like a virtual assistant or, even an American to do these things,
Sure.
and the amount of training that it takes and repetitive over and over and over again. Like I got to tell him, hey, here's how you answer this question. What I love about AI and the chat bots and all that is you can teach it one time. Like one time and it's done.
Yeah.
And then the next time we teach something else and it just seems to grow and kind of build upon itself.
Yeah. And they get it. And at the end of the day, it's all about saving you time because your time is so valuable. Obviously managing a team is important, but the more time that we can save you so you can focus on the things that you enjoy and that bring value to your business, that's where we get the fulfillment and satisfaction. And I think you brought up another point, which is something that everyone's talking about when it comes to AI. There's a lot of fear. Well, okay, in the past, I hired a VA in overseas or even someone local. Well, that's eliminating jobs. So isn't that a bad thing? And so I think there are situations where that takes place. And with us both being in Phoenix right now, I don't know if you've taken the plunge, David. So I'm going to go on a tangent and then I'll reel it back in. Are you familiar with Waymo, the self-driving Uber?
Dude, I saw one. I saw one the other day. I want to take one. I have a rental car here, but I want to take one. I want to try it.
So they have them here in Phoenix. They're also in San Francisco, I believe, LA. They're expanding to Atlanta, Miami, Tokyo this year. And so they are self-driving Ubers, similar to the experience we've all had with Uber. You use an app, you get a code when your vehicle arrives. They all look the same. They're white. They're electric cars. And
I thought they were the Google Map cars when I first saw them.
I thought so at first too.
Yeah, that's because that's what it looks like.
They do. And so you put your little code in on the keypad. There's nobody inside. There's a little video that pops down, gives you a little intro, and then you have a quiet ride to your destination. So in that case, they are cheaper than Ubers because they're trying to gain market share. But even when they raise their prices, I think they're going to put Uber and Lyft out of business because they can always charge lower because they don't have to pay a driver. And so that is an instance where AI is going to eliminate jobs potentially, if my prediction is true. But when it comes to the REI space, our hope is, okay, well, you are saving all this time by using this chatbot. That means your revenue is going to increase. And then you are going to hire a team to handle other aspects of your business. So in fact, at the end of the day, if you're following through and your business is doing well, you are actually going to be hiring more people than you would otherwise.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. When we were running a large nation wide wholesaling company, we would bring in our initial people and they're just making calls. Like they're just going through the follow-ups, right? The 10,000 numbers or records that we had in our system. And just, we were paying them pretty good money to just, make 100 calls a day and to connect with one or two people. So to be able to, instead of doing that, leverage something like this, right? And something that can do the text messages and the emails and all the follow-up sequences, far better use of our time and our dollars. And now we can take that person, like you said, and put them in a spot where they can actually generate, more revenue, right? And make sure that the time we're paying them for, it's their quality conversations with people who've actually raised their hand and said, yeah, I'm still interested in selling.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So empowering your people then to be more productive, get more done. And, we talked about using a chatbot. Another area which I think is worth mentioning for the REI space is, as a investor, you are going to have to market yourself to grow your business. And that takes a lot of time, especially if it's not something you're terribly excited about. You need to put yourself out there. You need to meet people. You need to put yourself online and connect. And so part of what our AI does, it's very much marketing and sales focused.
Okay.
So I think there are some people who are naturally gifted at kind of writing, copywriting, and marketing
Yeah.
strategy. For a lot of us, that's not our strong suit. And that can be scary because you're like, I want to advertise myself, but I don't want to waste my money. I want to do it correctly. And so I'll give you an example of one of the things I did when I first started at BotBuilders. Matt Lights, our CEO, wanted me to create a ebook.
Yeah.
Ebook, as far as the marketing material, is pretty complex because we're talking, it's lengthy. There's graphic design components too,
Right.
and so for me, I am a writer. I'm a marketer at my core. So if I were to create a quality ebook and get the support I need to make it happen, it would probably take me 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Using AI, I did it in 2 days. Of course, I didn't take what was given to me and then, hit the send button. I refined what was given to me. So there's a level of thinking there, high level thinking, and taking what you've been given and making it better. But think about how much time I saved. And for someone who isn't strong in this area, like I am, it really expands the horizons and gives you confidence to say, hey, I'm going to create this email sequence to send it out to some prospects. I'm going to create this text messaging campaign. I'm going to create a funnel, a webinar, whatever you want to do can be done not only quicker, but also better than you could do.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a pretty good writer too, and probably not as good a marketer as you, but definitely have done a lot. But I think a bad ChatGPT or AI written email is probably better than most people's good day, right? Because it can draw on all that information that's got in its, I guess, database or wherever the AI overlords draw all the information from. It's got that, and we're working on an ebook, and the foundation of kind of the core ideas did come out of AI, right? And then it's like, we got to take it chapter by chapter and really refine it and say, hey, what about this? Add this in, and then we go in and kind of do some editing. But yeah, it's a great jumping off point.
100%. So, and it's when you think about things at the end of the day, how quickly is that going to help your company grow? A lot of investors who are either they need something to help them get over that initial hump. And I think with some of these tools and resources, that gives people confidence. That gives the newbies confidence to how to make that first deal, which is the scariest one out of them all, or they've reached a certain place in their career where they've plateaued a little bit and they don't know how to get from this revenue figure to the next one. They may hire a coach to help them do so. And that's a fantastic way to do things. But this is another way you can just add more to your arsenal and be a more effective and successful investor.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely great baseline. Always a good place to start. Instead of maybe paying $50,000 if you're just getting started to a coach, hey, let's, what resources can we draw upon? And, the one thing I love about the AI stuff is it just puts it into really easily digestible, format. And there's so many great prompts and everything out there. But yeah, let's talk like more specifically about like kind of what you guys do when you come into my business, and how can we really help just turbocharge things?
Yeah, for sure. So we do a few things. One is the chatbots. So we spoke about that. It can be used for sales support, customer service, and we'll come in. We have a dev team. We can integrate with really any systems you have in place. And the chatbot itself can function in different areas. Some people want to use it on Facebook, on Meta Messenger. We can do that. Some people want to do it through text messaging. We can do that. Some people want a chat feature on their website. We can do that. So there's a lot of flexibility there based on how your business is structured and how it operates.
Nice.
With our AI tools and automation, it's called Automator AI. So essentially, you log into your platform if you're one of our automator AI customers, and you have access to all of the sales and marketing resources that we talked about earlier. There's a lot on the design side too. And so part of what I think maybe makes us different than other folks is we don't just throw things at you and say, hey, good luck.
Yeah.
If things don't work out, maybe you should try harder or whatever. Or, hey, that's not really our problem.
Yeah.
Customer support's a big part of what we do. So when you become a part of our community, you have the support of our team.
Nice.
So you can reach out to them and say, hey, I'm having trouble with this, or I'm not quite sure how to do this, and I bought this 3 years ago. You're still part of our community, so we will provide that support for as long as you find value with what we have to offer. So I think that's another thing, that you don't have to feel like you're doing it alone. You have a team of talented tech folks, marketing folks who can provide a helping hand if you need it.
So, so just because I'm sure people have questions. So when you're talking about like a website, this would be on my my acquisition side, maybe, where it could be the same ad that we run or the same landing page that we run our PPC leads to, and there would also have the ability to like chat with us or something down in the corner.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that could be one way. Absolutely.
Okay. So, and then that would pop up and it'll just start asking some basic questions and start to kind of narrow it down a little bit. And then it has the ability to like kind of pivot or take the conversation in different directions depending upon the responses.
Exactly. Yeah. So a whole host of different scenarios. You can make it as complex or simple as you'd like. So you could have lots of different avenues or roads you can go down. And this can help you qualify your acquisitions efforts too. So if you want them to talk to someone, but you want to make sure that person isn't going to waste their time, you can ask those initial questions, make sure it's a quality lead for your business.
And when you talk about like building it out to have the, let's say I have a business and I just want to do subject to, right? Whatever. Do you have that kind of stuff already built out where it's just, on the backside you can set this up, or is it something that I'll have to go in and do and kind of teach it, or tell me kind of what that looks like?
Yeah. So since, we've helped a lot of real estate folks, big time players in the industry over the years, we have a lot that is already there. So it's really each person's choice if they want to go with the core of what we have and then kind of tweak it from there to make sure everything's in line with what they do. We can go down that road, or if they just want to start from scratch, they want everything to be custom to what they do, we can go down that road too. Of course, that takes longer, but it's something that you're creating from the ground up. So there's an ability to do things both ways.
Nice. And then, so acquisitions, I guess you could use one on the disposition side. Maybe you could just ask some basic questions. Hey, what property you're interested in? How you funding your deal? How quickly you're looking to close? Some stuff like that. But that would be a separate bot, right?
Yeah. So we've had some businesses where we've created multiple bots for different purposes. Or some just have one that can handle different things. So I guess it depends on how diverse the subject matter is, and if you'd like people to have a different experience here and a different experience there. But yeah, we've had clients where we've created 4 or 5 bots for their business for different kind of uses. So yeah, lots of flexibility there too.
Nice. And I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but to compare buying a bot with paying a virtual assistant for a year, probably far cheaper.
Yeah. So it's affordable. Obviously, the more complex you go, and it's going to be more expensive. But one way to think about it is it is a one-time cost, but it's something that's going to provide value for many years to come. So even if initially you're paying a little more, that pays itself off in time as you're using it years on end, and you're not also having to spend that time, as you said, retraining, teaching new skills, and so forth. So yeah, it's given the value yeah, definitely, I would say a reasonable investment for
Yeah.
even investors who are just starting out.
Mm-hmm. So I buy the bot one time and there's no like monthly recurring or, none of that. And you guys just make sure it stays updated and working in the background.
Yep. Yep. So we'll work with you there if you're wanting to use our automation and AI resources on top of the chatbot. That is a monthly fee there, but the chatbot, yeah, that's once you've created it, it's yours. We'll help you support it for many years to come, and yeah, with our AI services, we also have a program called Accelerator, which is kind of the peak of it, where Matt's a brilliant marketer himself. He's a brilliant business leader. He's created so many kind of $1 million offers that I've lost count.
Yeah.
So we have a small group. So if you're a business owner who says, okay, I want to grow my business in 3 months to what would normally take 3 years.
Yeah.
Matt has a group of students there. Well, he'll get on a weekly call with them. It's actually happening in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And they'll talk through all their business questions, and he'll give advice to them. And so it's all about taking your business to a high level. So that's something else we offer. But at the end of the day, if you just want a chatbot and you want to run with it,
yeah,
do it. If you'd like our support to help you with everything we have internally, we're happy to do so too.
Man, that's amazing. So how does it work with like text messaging, and does it work with emails too? Like how does all that kind of stuff, like the follow-up sequences, how does that work?
Yep. So you can create both cases there. Email, you can create email sequences on automation. So it'll help you set up all of those follow-up sequences, which, if you're in the email marketing game, you want to have that follow-up. If you're having a webinar, only some folks are going to attend it, but you can make a lot of money off of your follow-up and people who missed the webinar, for example. So that's all doable. Text messaging sequences too. And so it's important when you're doing that. There are regulations when it comes to text messaging. When it comes to frequency, the time you send your message, and if you screw up, you can get hit very hard, because there is not a limit on the penalties that the government can impose on you for violations. So that's something that, through our system, it won't even allow you. If you say, hey, I want to send text messages today to this one person, you won't even be allowed to do that. So I think text messaging is a great way to reach people, but you want to be careful you're being compliant and you're not annoying people, because everyone's going to open their text messages. But if you blow up their phone, next thing you know, they're marking you as spam, and that's going to be a problem for your business.
Nice. So how do you guys, let's say I use Smarter Contact or Launch Control, or I'm texting from FreedomSoft or Resimply or any of those, like how hard is it, I guess, to connect the bot to those so that it actually works? Or is that something you guys can help with?
Yeah, that's pretty easy most of the time. We'll oftentimes have an integration through Zapier to help with that.
Okay.
If there are any issues on the dev side, they can also integrate things in a custom way. So really, any software you're using, any content management system, CMS you're using, we'll be able to integrate with it. If it's something as simple as a Zapier integration, we'll go that route. But if it's something a little complex, like back when I was at My House Deals, our platform was created from scratch, so we weren't on WordPress or any sort of management system that's out there. So we'd still be able to go in and connect with that infrastructure to make sure everything's integrated and operating smoothly.
Right. And then same for email, it just somehow, and again, I'm the least, I'm the least technical person out there. So I'm like, oh, that's all sounds like magic, Vlad. That's fantastic. I love that. I just hire somebody and make that shit work.
Yeah. Sometimes what developers do seems like black magic to do, but yeah, they can set things up so it's running smoothly for you, whether you're using a MailChimp or Salesforce or Constant Contact or any of the other systems out there.
Yeah. So how many of these, I mean, you guys have been around for a few years. How many of these have you done? Because that's always a question, right? Like, hey, are these guys reliable? You know, if I spend my money with them, you know, am I going to get what I'm paying for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to our impact in the industry, we've been around for close to a decade. So we've been doing it for a while. We've helped thousands, hundreds of thousands of customers across industries. So real estate, as I mentioned earlier, is one of the biggest segments that we serve, and part of that is also because Matt's a real estate investor himself.
Mm-hmm.
So when he started out his career, he was making deals. He's from Ohio,
Yeah.
so he was doing deals in Ohio, and then expanded outside of real estate into technology as we are now. But given my background there, his background, our COO is also a real estate guy, so we all came from that world.
Right.
So we have a lot of knowledge on the real estate space, and we've created a lot of chatbots for that industry. Mm-hmm. So I think, when it comes to our overall impact, we've done a lot, but also REI focused. I would venture to guess, we're at the top of the list in serving your specific industry, David.
Yeah, for sure. Now, let me ask you this. How long until the AI overlords take over? Because I'm going to tell you, like, when I'm using even ChatGPT, I'm very much on the please and thank you. I want to make sure that they remember that I was polite.
we recommend the same thing. So we've all seen the movies. You don't want to make any enemies.
That's right.
But AI
has
it's interesting to see how things will progress.
Yeah.
But obviously there's some fear out there, and there have been movies and things like that. But we'll see how things progress over the years to come. And I mean, you're ready to take a self-driving Uber. I've talked to some folks who are like, "Oh no, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm scared of doing that." So
I feel like it's safer than skydiving.
Yeah. But what I'll ask you though, let's say you're in one, and they are safe, but let's say someone hits you, and it's a weird situation, right? Mm-hmm. So you get in a car accident, you're in a self-driving car, the guy comes out, he wants to talk to the driver, you come out and you're like, hey, like I haven't been driving this vehicle. Yeah, that's an awkward situation. What do you do?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't normally buckle up in the back seat of an Uber, but I probably would be in the self-driving car. So, I mean, outside of our business, because we definitely talked about how this can come in and you can, implement this in your business and have an immediate impact. What do you see for the future of AI and kind of where we're going, and maybe over the next 3, 4, 5 years, like, the difference that we will see and just how we do everyday things?
Yeah, that's a really great question too. And if you look at ChatGPT, for example, how quickly it was adopted, it blew things out of the water, even compared to social media, compared to other groundbreaking technology like TV, and before that, radio, the internet, all of that. So the adoption rate was so high, and we're moving at such a fast pace. It is really interesting to see how things will shake out in the years to come, and how that's going to kind of impact our day to day. So as far as any predictions, I have a lot of thoughts on this, but one of them will be, and part of it's also when you look at disruptive technology or inventions. Think about Airbnb, for example. So when that first came out, people thought it was nuts. They're like, "So you're telling me I'm going to sleep in some random stranger's home? I'm never going to
show up and sleep there."
Yeah, and now, people are still going to hotels. It's not like it eliminated that industry, but a lot of people don't think that staying at an Airbnb is weird.
I'm in an Airbnb right now.
So there you go. And why did you choose an Airbnb over a hotel?
Honestly, it was affordable. It was really cheaper than getting a couple of hotel rooms. I've got a kitchen and a refrigerator, and I can cook, and I don't have to go out for every single meal, and it just feels a little more relaxed, and I have more room to spread out, and it was cheaper. far cheaper actually.
And that's a selling point. If you're going on a group trip, everyone can have their own room instead of sharing a hotel room. So that's part of what I think we'll see in the future. Just a lot more comfort with the technology, more openness to try it, seeing it as a way to empower people in the workplace rather than eliminate jobs. Though you need to recognize that those things do happen. Whenever there's any disruptive technology, it's not all going to be positive. There are going to be some negative ramifications. So I think what's important is I think this is something that isn't going away. So if you haven't hopped on, you should, because it's not going away. Something that I think is interesting, and it's happening in Japan, and I actually read something about this yesterday, is the birth rate in Japan is very low because a lot of men in Japan have their AI girlfriends and they're not going out.
Really? AI girlfriends? That's real?
Yeah. Yeah, they're AI girlfriends. They're playing video games at home. They're not going out. So I think it will be interesting as things evolve, maybe, and not just dating, but creating what you see as friendships with AI, providing you with support. And I think I remember the days when I was growing up and the internet was just starting. It wasn't unusual in those days to go into these chat rooms and talk to random people.
Yeah.
That's something that these days we would think is weird. Like, I don't want to talk to some rando in Montana who may or may not be who they say they are. But I think it could become a thing where you are getting some social interaction, so to speak, with AI.
I mean, I was in my 20s when AOL chat rooms were there, and you'd pick your city or what topic you want to talk about. And you want to talk about model planes? There's a chat room for model planes or model trains or whatever it is, or however exotic you wanted to get. There was something for everybody.
Right. And there are negative parts of that too. You want to make sure you're still going out there and interacting with folks. But it can be something. You're bored on a Friday night. You don't want to go out, and you're just gonna have a fun conversation. So.
Yeah. Well, I think it's amazing. I do think, you can't deny that AI is going to have a big impact, and kind of, I would say, immediate impact in our lives. Just what it's been able to do even in our company for the marketing, and just like, hey, analyze a spreadsheet, look at my P&L, look through these through all of these transactions and look for wasted spending, whatever it is. I think it's a great tool, and the people who are not using it they're going to just fall behind. I think you have to have it, right? I can't hire an in-house bookkeeper, an accountant, and lawyer, and all of these, an HR person, and all of these different things, where instead I can have a chat bot or somebody else, whatever, ChatGPT, where I can go out and get those answers and feel pretty good that they're accurate.
Yeah. And I think those are the two choices there. It's not going away, like you said. And think a Blockbuster is a good example of that. Things were shifting in the industry. They kept on with how things were at the time, didn't view Netflix as a threat. And they're now out of business. So.
Right. Yeah. And, luckily, most of the people in our industry are younger and far more adaptive to new technologies. Me, I'm a very slow adopter. I want to make sure everything works, and
and I was like that too at the beginning, as someone who prides themselves in their writing. Like, I'm not using ChatGPT. Like, that's an insult to me. Like, I'm a good writer. It can never produce something like I can produce. I'm against it. But, my mindset has shifted. So.
Yeah, it's getting better and better, and like leaps and bounds every 2 or 3 months. Like, it just, the stuff that it kicks out is pretty phenomenal. So I definitely encourage everybody to be using it. And let's take the power of the internet and all the people who have developed this, and let's put it to work in your real estate business. I can't think of a better way to give you that competitive edge in today's marketplace, right? Where you can have an AI chat bot, answering your sellers, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Nobody's got to stay up late, and it's just some point of contact. So, so they don't go to the next person, right, or go to the next page, something like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I think you covered it in a nutshell nicely. And it's, as a real estate investor, you're working around the clock. You may be working on weekends. You may be working at night. And so, having the ability to have that support at any time of the day, folks are reaching out to you. You're reaching out to them. You don't want to miss out on opportunities just because you're not available at that time.
Yeah, so many times when we had students, they would they would turn off their PPC on the weekends because nobody was working, and when we were running a lot of PPC, I would analyze it, and when the most leads came in, like the hottest time, Sunday nights between like 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. That was the biggest time, and I guess it makes sense, right? People had a long weekend, now they're panicking about getting rid of their house, and I wasn't answering the phone at that time of night, right? So people are just leaving messages. So I love the, that even if a message comes in, something that can trigger like a message, hey, got your message, love to hear about the house, right? Where you can have that preliminary information being gathered. So boom, when you come in at 9 a.m. on Monday, we give them a call back. Like, we don't have to just regurgitate the same, what's the address, all those types of things. Like, that information is there because we've used technology to capture it so that we can get out of the gates a little bit quicker and get these properties under contract and really help sellers.
And that doesn't surprise me at all. Thinking back to my house deals, we would send emails at night. And at first, if you read any article out there when it comes to email marketing, they say, no, don't send emails out in the evening at night. You need to hit people at between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. That's when your open rates are going to be the highest. And we just tested it out, and we said, hey, let's send out this email at 9 o'clock. And it performed well. So then we started doing it some more and compared the data. And our late sends performed better than what's the sweet spot.
Really?
And that's why I think testing is important, because general rules of thumb may not apply to your business. And especially in our industry, like you said, folks are working, or someone's trying to sell a house. They're stressed out late at night on a Sunday. You want to hit people at the right time. So while that time frame may be ideal for other industries, we found through data it wasn't for us. So we started sending a lot of stuff at night, and it performed better. Yeah,
it just reminded me, there's a real estate marketer, and I won't drop his name here, but I've noticed it's like 10 o'clock every night. That kind of triggered me to look at my phone and see it. He is definitely the late night email guy. It must be working because he continues to do it. And I'm not disputing that, the people who ran, collected data on, 10 million emails that they're right. But I think sometimes you got to break away from what everybody's doing and try something a little different.
Exactly. Definitely.
Oh, cool. Guys, we threw in the chat, Chloe, put in, because we got people on 4 or 5 Facebook channels and also on YouTube, a link where you can click the link and get some more information. Vlad, what happens when they click that link?
Yeah, so clicking that link will give you a little more information about what we're all about. And if you take a look, you like what you see, feel free to reach out to us. We have a great customer support team who will talk to you, see if what we're doing makes sense for your business. So I encourage you to check it out and kind of go from there. If it's not right for you right now, or right for you generally, no sweat. We appreciate you taking a look. And then, of course, if you'd like to reach out to me directly, feel free to do so. I'm on social media, but we have a great team here at BotBuilders, and we're more than happy to continue that conversation with you and see if we can help your business grow.
Nice. Well, guys, I would encourage you to, click the link, jump on a call, kind of like we do at Easy REI Closings, right? Where we want to talk about your business and see, what did you do last year? What's your plan next year? And is this something that will help you just kind of pour gasoline on whatever you're doing and just really accelerate your business, right? And I feel like, from seeing what I've seen and from talking to you, this is just a great bolt-on for for your operations, so that you can really do more with less. And that's what we all want to do, right? Is find the most economical way to blow up our business. No longer do you have to have, an internal team of 20 or 25 people like we did even 5 years ago. Now, so much of the industry, the kind of niche things that, that you need help with, you can outsource it for a cheap price.
I appreciate the kind words, David.
Yeah. Well, cool. Vlad, thank you so much for popping on. Guys, make sure you click that link before we close this down. We're going to see the people that really pull away from the crowd in 2025, using things like this. Even if you're just getting started, you may not have the time or the bandwidth to be doing everything in your business. And this is just an amazing way to take some of that workload off your plate for really just pennies on the dollar. So that was why we wanted to get Vlad to come on today and talk about that and answer some questions. So guys, if you have anything that you want to find out more, click the link. You can certainly reach out to Vlad or me, and we're always here to help in any way that we can.
Thanks again for having me on, David, and it's great to have you here in Phoenix too.
Yeah,
so it is a little chilly for Phoenix, but it's not what folks have been experiencing in other parts of the country.
That's what I've said to everybody. I came here for the warm weather, and granted, it's better than Tennessee and Dallas where I was, but it's weird that it's 30 degrees in the morning, and then by noon it's 60.
Right, exactly.
The swings are pretty dramatic.
Yep.
Cool.
So,
all right, buddy. I will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, David.
All right. Bye-bye.